All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Robb Gilbear. Robb, welcome. So awesome to have you on the show today.
Thanks so much, Kevin. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I got to tell this story because this is such a cool testament to the power of right relationships, how you and I met and stuff. Because you and I met a couple of years ago, actually, it's been a little more, 2 years and a couple months now, at this event down in Austin, Texas. And we met there and we had mutual friends and everything. And we spent some time, we went out to meals and spent time talking. And then later, more recently, like earlier this year, I was checking out, I saw something that then caused me like, oh, let me go to Robb's website. And I started checking India and I'm like, wow. Robb is doing some really cool stuff. And it dawned on me, you know what? I met this guy 2 years ago and we got along great and we had all these great conversations. But yet, through that whole experience, I didn't even know what the heck Robb did. And so, and because you and I are like always about just meeting the people because we care way more about who somebody is and how they show up than we do about what they do. And so,
It's funny, we both have that in common that we were just more curious about getting to know who the human is versus diving into the all these details about, the work itself or
yeah.
or the business side. It was more about the human side.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that at all. And in fact, it's served us both pretty well over the years. And
Yes.
so
Agreed.
so when you and like because when you're with the right people and you're around the right people, man, it's just so easy to do business when it feels right and stuff. I mean, it just comes easily, organically, in complete flow, and stuff happens so doggone fast when you're coming from that place. And so, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'll tell you, I have really been looking forward to this conversation because I am curious to find out more and get more insight into what you do because I know you're doing awesome stuff. And so, why don't we just start off there? And I'll just ask you, Robb, what do you do and who do you serve?
So the best way to answer what do I do is to give a bit more context and tell a short story to then
Okay.
answer the question very squarely. And I've had a bit of a weird career path. I'm on my third career.
Okay. Me
First
too.
career, there you go. Not surprised. First career was DJ, music producer, and record label owner. And I did it fully. I toured from coast to coast in the US and Canada. I played at big festivals like Ultra Music Festival in Miami. I played at Burning Man. I DJ'd in Europe. I had music played on the radio. Like I did it fully. But then the late nights, the lifestyle, and the drinking nearly killed me. And I ended up in a pretty dark place from that in that lived career. So, but I stuck it out and I started changing who I was and changing things about my life. And we can get into those details if it feels relevant. And my second career was head of people and culture in tech companies. And as far as an office job is concerned, for someone like me, that's a pretty damn awesome place because it is the intersection of strategy and people. It is business and humans when it is done well. And my favorite part of those roles, because I work my up to be head of people and culture, is coaching CEOs and coaching leadership teams. And the last place I was, the CEO fully trusted me and like allowed me and asked me to go get anonymous feedback from the entire organization, sit with him for a few hours, tell him everything everyone thinks he's shit at. And then he looked at me and said, help me fix it. Like I had
Wow.
his full trust, an incredible human. So, but anytime I stopped, anytime I took a break from my email, anytime I took a little bit of a vacation, I couldn't get rid of this overwhelming feeling that I was meant to do more, that I want to do more of this coaching, that this little bit of the work that I loved in this job would be more fulfilling for me. But I felt stuck. I had a six-figure salary, director level title, all the fixings, but I got the guts. And in 2019, I quit that job. I signed a couple of coaching clients on the side. It gave me enough confidence to think I could do it full time. Announced to the world that I was going into this coaching thing. Things blew up. Signed my first 12 clients in 2 weeks, signed my first
In
overseas
two
client. Like
weeks. Wow.
It was, and off LinkedIn, like LinkedIn was the main place that, and it still is to this day. It's my main platform, and my community on there now has grown considerably since. But it was thanks to LinkedIn and relationships. And funny enough, these days, half of my clients still come through referrals, even though I've got like a presence online and do certain things. But then the twist that leads to what I'm doing now to properly answer the first question you asked is other coaches and consultants started asking me, how'd you do this? How did you go from full-time employee to full roster of clients? What is this voodoo you're doing on LinkedIn? Can I pick your brain? And I'd have calls with no agenda, give them some feedback on their messaging, on their offers, some suggestions they might try. In 1 week, 3 people booked those calls. Two of them ended the conversation by saying, how do I have another session like this?
Mhm.
And I went, oh. So the way I normally describe what I do now is the coaches and consultants that are doing meaningful work truly from the heart that really care normally aren't also good at getting the message out and at attracting and enrolling clients. They're adverse to doing things that feel like pushy or salesy. So
Mhm.
I help them build a business that they love so they can be proud when they're telling others not just about the impact, which they're always proud of, but also about the money that they're making.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And that is phenomenal. I mean, so as soon as you made this switch and made that decision, I'm going to do this, 12 clients in 2 weeks. I mean, if that's not confirmation that you're moving on the right track, I don't know what is, you know? It's so,
Thank
and
you. I think the challenge with a lot of people is they're quite meek. They're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna try this. Oh, I'm not gonna be too like own it too much because like, what if it fails? I want to have like a fallback plan." And I was just like the my announcement post that I quit my job was the announcer actually said like I quit my job and things couldn't be going any better. And it was me enthusiastically talking about a client I just signed, about how much I was loving this work, describing not from a they're this old and they live in this city, but from the heart. Like these are the people I'm meant to serve.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
already done the work themselves. They're this far along. This is what they care about, and really speaking to the human that I knew that I was meant to serve.
yeah,
And then that just really caught fire. And then, yeah, it confirmed that I was meant to be doing the work that I was doing.
yeah. Wow, wow. So, what inspires you most about the work that you get to do and the work you're doing, the impact that you get to make, Rob?
Seeing people do things that they didn't believe they could do,
Okay.
seeing people
Okay.
step into a new identity, and there's people that like they care about this work and they enjoy it and they know they don't want to be just in a job that feels like it's soul sucking, but it's just like, can I really do this? Is this really possible? So that piece is always rewarding, and I can like it's almost like a look in their eyes changes. Like it's just like hope and belief in the way that they almost change the way they're carrying themselves and their shoulders. That shifts. Hearing the stories of impact from my clients, because my clients are leadership coaches, career coaches, mindset coaches, like all these, and the work that they're doing with individuals and organizations, and then the consultants, they're not like selling widgets, they're working with teams to help an organization become more inclusive of neurodiverse employees. They're helping an entire medical clinic communicate better with each other so they deliver better patient care. And I hear these stories and it's like, wow. Like
Yeah.
I get to do this? Like this is my life? Like are you kidding me? And then these days I'm doing more in-person stuff. And
Okay.
then all of that is amplified in person. Like in this year, we've done a retreat in Tulum, did an event in London, UK, did an event in Toronto, been like hosting different things in different cities. And to see what happens in person once you get like the right people together, human to human, where they can feel each other, shake hands, laugh, and the shifts that happen, it's so cool.
Yeah. Do you find that you oftentimes see things in your clients that they can't even see, and you end up believing in them maybe before they can start believing in themselves? That's pretty
Yes.
common, huh?
It is common. And then there's I wish I knew who I could attribute to the first person I heard this from, but I heard someone else say it, and now I say it to my clients. I'm like, in the meantime, like borrow my belief. Like if you're short on belief right now, borrow mine because I'm very selective about who I choose to work with. And if I choose to work with someone, it's because I fully, wholeheartedly believe in them, who they are, what they can do, and that they can get to this next stage that they want to go to. So I have this unwavering belief, and then in the meantime, I'm like, yeah, if you have a down day, a dip in confidence, like borrow my belief because it's unwavering.
I love that. I love that. You know, it's interesting. I have had people, well, I think you and I, you know Jesse Elder, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so Jesse and I go back 13 years, and he was definitely one of those guys that saw things in me that I couldn't see at the time, that had this unwavering belief in me that I did not have in myself at the time, you know. And he would just paint this, not only would point things out to me that he saw happening that I'm like, oh wow, I never noticed that, but he's right, But then he'd also paint this vision in this picture that was so vivid of like, Kevin, could you imagine this? And I'm like, at that time, I'm like, man, Jesse, that's really a challenge for me to imagine that right now. you know? And I'll give you a perfect example. Today, I get to just I am in regular contact daily with amazing entrepreneurs who are making such a huge impact in this world, running businesses anywhere from, I don't know, 500,000 on up to 1 billion, you know. And if you would have told me years ago that I'd be in regular communication with millionaires, multimillionaires, even billionaires, heck no. I could not have imagined that. But yet that is totally my reality today. And like just 2 weeks ago, I was talking with this retired military general, and we were talking about this, and I was talking to and telling him how there was a time where I would, like, when I'm talking with somebody like you, where I would be like uneasy or anxious or what have you, and he's like, but Kev, he's like, you're just like me, and he's like, I was like, you know what, I know that now, I didn't know that then. you know and so you're right, it is so powerful to have those people in our lives that can see things that we can't see for ourselves, and that, like you said, just let me borrow my belief, because man, I believe in you 100%, and you can totally do this. You are the guy, you are the gal for this, and man, that is powerful. That is powerful. Well, so what are some results that you've helped get from, I mean, and you have to name names, Ken, if you want. It's totally your call, but what's some results that you've helped clients get that you're just incredibly proud of, Rob? I want to kind of get a feel for this.
Oh, there's clients that have signed 30, 50, and $80,000 clients who completely pivoted what they were doing and launched a whole new business that is now highly successful, and it's the most successful thing they've ever done. There's people that have gone from having like one or two of their first clients to now having like a 250 or $500,000 business. And there's one younger entrepreneur who, when we first spoke, he was hesitant and he knew he wanted to leave, and he thought about signing up with me, and then he paused, and then he's someone that I followed through with. I don't like the word follow up because it can have the negative, but I followed through. Like, hey, you said you want to join this program. Do you like, are you in, or are you out? And he signed up with me, and since we worked together years ago, he's built and built and built, and now he's, I'm making like 150,000 a month, and he has like retired family members and hired other people, and he's way younger than me. And I'm just like, for him, it's not just like the money, but what he's doing with it. So he's living this life. He's really healthy, and now he's employing like family members and other people, and giving them a sense of freedom and a lifestyle that was completely out of reach before. So it's really cool to see the people shift, and kind of what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can imagine. Wow, wow, wow.
There's one
So,
better story. Hold on. So funny. I can't believe it. I didn't mention Joe Leon Rising. He is someone that when he first saw me leave and do what I was doing, he pinged me. He's someone that I knew previously from my music days.
okay.
And his message is like, I have a 10-year plan, and I'm hoping maybe in 5 years I can leave this job and do my own thing. And I said, like, why 5 years? Why can't it be like, why not sooner? And I challenged him on it. We ended up speaking together. We ended up working together a few months later. He left his job, I think 6 months or 8 months after he sent me that message. The cool thing, though, is that he set up a business that really is for the public good. And a portion of all his revenue goes to a center for grieving children who have lost a loved one due to, like, who've lost a loved one, and children. And it's part of his life. Like he lost both his children at a young age. He went through a lot of grief and he really believes in this cause. And the last time I checked with him, it was like 80 or 90 kids had been able to go through this program to get support with their grief after losing a loved one because of the donations that he's directly doing with his company, Data Gives Back.
Wow. Wow. What an awesome story that is. I mean, and how rewarding and fulfilling that must be for you to have had a hand in just helping that become a reality and stuff.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
It,
So now, Chris, so what's your vision for your business going forward from here, from your current vantage point?
there's two areas that I'm playing in that are feel like complete polar opposites in a really
Okay.
beautiful way. One is with technology,
Uh-huh.
and now there is an AI like the Growth Habit OS, and it is based and trained on all of my teachings, all my frameworks, all of my tools, and all my thinking. And you can even go in and like there's an Ask Rob, and you can ask it any questions, and it gives you responses, so my clients can get help and support and feedback any time of day, regardless of whether I'm online or not. So it's really helping making the help way more accessible. So there's that on that side. And the other side, which is so different, which is I mentioned it earlier, is the in-person piece. So like leveraging technology, doing cool things at the forefront of what AI and the technology can allow us to do to help more people, regardless of whether I'm tethered or not, but then also old school, face to face, in a room together. And I'm running a mastermind in Toronto on the 30th. I did one in Ottawa a couple weeks ago. I did one in London in the UK a week before that. My big annual event, Do Bold Shit. We're on our third year of it this year. Last year we had
Nice.
people from 5 different countries in the room. And so that piece, like, oh, I have goosebumps saying that to you. Like, it's just, it's so fun because the event with Do Bold Shit, like a lot of time and effort and thinking and planning and stuff goes into it. And sometimes in the couple weeks leading up to the event, I lose sight of what we're actually creating. And then I walked out of the event last year and I looked at my partner Melissa and I was like, oh, I think we've created a multi-day transformation event. Like people are having massive breakthroughs and huge ahas, and people are like beaming. And it's like I almost like forgot like what it is that we created the event because in the last few weeks I got so wrapped up in the logistics of it all.
Uh-huh. So when is your next event coming up?
The next one that would be that one because the mastermind I have in a couple weeks is sold out, and that is in mid-October, October 17th and 18th. It's in Toronto.
Okay.
And it's yeah, it's people flying in and come to attend, and it is cool that way, but also it's intimate. It's 70 people, but we're on the 27th floor with stunning view of the lake in Toronto, the CN Tower, huge high ceilings, floor to ceiling, like just stunning space because the space itself is there to curate the boldness and to remind you of kind of what's possible. I was afraid to book the venue at first. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, I need to do something here." But then my voice is, "Who the hell are you? That's too expensive. What if you can't fill it? Who do you think you are?" So me booking that space was me doing something bold, and the event didn't have its name yet. And then later I was like, "Wait a minute. Like, do bold shit is a mantra in our community. I've got it on socks that I send out to clients when
I
they
love
sign
it.
up. Do
That is
bullshit.
awesome.
We've got it on stickers. Like I've got it on stickers that say do bullshit. Like
Okay.
it's a thing that's existed for a while. And I was like, wait a minute, me saying yes to this venue is me doing
Yeah.
bullshit. And like that should be the name of the event. And then the event became about how do we create an environment in a space that allows people to change what they believe is possible for themselves and declare bigger things and embrace boldness and do really cool stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And you are inspiring a whole lot of other people to do bold shit. So that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, okay, so now that we've got some context set here and
Uh-huh.
listeners now have a little bit of an idea of who you are and what you're all about, Rob, I want to switch gears just a little bit. I want to start talking about the relationship side of all
Mm.
this. And
Yeah.
so, have you ever been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons. And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships.
Ah, I love this, and I love that we have this in common because it really is number one to me, like relationships. There's someone I'm working with right now, Natasha Wallstra. She's a LinkedIn coach and she's brilliant and the biggest heart and smart as hell, so much experience. And last year I recommended a vendor to her. I recommended someone like, hey, you should work with this person.
Mhm.
And then it didn't work out. And I felt bad. I messaged her and said, hey, I'll pay you. Like whatever you've paid them for the last 2 months, like I will pay that out of pocket because I value the relationship more than any dollar amount.
Yeah.
And her response to that was just like, wow, I don't know that I've ever been in an interaction with someone like this where you're like, yeah, the relationship is worth everything. And I mentioned it before, so I've got, I don't know, 27,000 people in my LinkedIn community and I like things go well there. Half of my clients are still through referrals.
Yeah.
It's all referrals and that's relationships. It's the only way it gets there. But let's get to your actual question. Anyone who has changed a course, there's two people that come right away and there's one person I want to give like a shout out to, like a loving mention.
Okay.
And the first one, we have to go back to the music days a little bit, but this one is just so wild to me. In my music days, I was playing a smaller show. There's a couple hundred people there. It wasn't a really big to do. And someone introduced me to a young kid who was there. His name was Jesse. And it was Jesse's first night out dancing. It was Jesse's first night out going to experience music. And he had such an incredible time and experience there that he became my one person cheerleader, my one person advocate on the West Coast to get me to play this very big, well known event called Shambhala. And he started going on the message boards every day, like, you got to book Rob G, you got to put, he's sharing links to my stuff. He's personally DMing the stage managers. And I had
Wow.
one short interaction with him and he saw me perform. And I got booked for this festival and I got to play and I played at a prime time and it was one of the best gigs I had possibly ever had. And then after the festival, and it's like a 10 or 15,000 person festival. The following week in the reviews in the newspapers, as far as like the best sets of the weekend, mine was consistently listed in the top three. And
Wow.
from that, then I started getting booked on the West Coast on a regular basis. I was flying out to the West Coast all the time, going to Vancouver, to Portland, to San Francisco, playing places like Whistler, Victoria. Like sometimes I was out in the West Coast 3 times a month, like three separate trips
Wow.
because of this one person,
This
Jesse.
one guy, Jesse.
And it's nuts because then obviously like I've moved on from that now, but there's a lot that to this day I still apply to what I do. Like I ran record labels and I manufactured physical product, and to sell physical product and to distribute physical product is a lot harder than just services online. And I learned so much from that that I still apply today. So Jesse is the first person to come to mind. The second person is my fiance, Melissa, who I can't credit someone as like, someone introduced me. We met through a dating app, but it is wild to me to think about how much my life has changed. And whether I think about the insane impact we have at our events, like the retreat we had in Tulum or at Do Bullshit, it is her hand behind the scenes. Whether I think about we talk about boring belief. When I was struggling with my own belief, she had unwavering belief in me and what I could do and that I could replace my salary and have bigger impact. And all, it was like, it was all her. Some of this money mindset stuff that I was struggling with, it was her and her belief in me. So my life would not be the same in any way, shape, or form. And that's not even talking about the relationships with like my kids and how that's allowed me to provide for my kids and the role she stepped in as a mother. And they don't call her a stepmom. They see her as a mom. They call her Mama Mel. They call her Mama Llama. Like it's just wow, one person and the changes and impact that she's had and all the people I get to work with. If it wasn't for her, I would probably still be working in an office job if it wasn't for her.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Um,
Wow.
and an honorable mention, there's someone that I met because of LinkedIn, because I was willing to talk openly about my struggles with alcohol, and that it's been over 11 years, but at the time, I don't know, I was celebrating like 8 or 9 years of living alcohol free.
Okay.
And this gentleman, Tony Albrecht, saw that and he's like, oh wow, you're allowed to talk about these things in public. You can show up this vulnerably. You can do this. They're like, you're allowed. And him and I became friends and he later became a client. And I love him. Like I love him as a human. And he's easily the person who sent me the most referrals. I can probably tie back like uh, 12, 15, 18, like so many clients. And then if there's 12 clients, there's twice as many introductions than people
Sure.
who just haven't become clients yet.
Yeah.
And one of them actually I met because of him. That person didn't become a client, but that person sent me a referral and that became a big high-end one-on-one client.
Yeah.
So like the stages, right? Of like
Yeah.
one person can introduce another, can open up other doors.
Yep.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's three really valuable relationships right there for sure. So what is an example of an experience where you personally got to make this really substantial impact? And maybe in the moment, it might have even been like, wow, look at what just happened right there. And yet, that would have never been possible if not for the relationship that you had with any one of the three people that you just talked about. What's an example of an experience where you were empowered in that way?
I'm going to connect a couple things that we already spoke about. Because I
Okay.
mentioned about Joe Leon's Rising earlier and this incredible business that he's created where he's allowing children suffering through grief to get the support they need because of the business he set up. And the entire business I have growth habit and then the events that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Melissa. Joe spoke on stage at Do Bullshit last year and tears in half the eyes in the room,
Yeah.
breathless.
Wow.
People just like, wow, like taken away, blown away from like what he's lived through, how he's taken his pain and suffering and turned it into something good, how he's like truly making impact in a way that most people don't think. And so many people came up to me afterwards and said like, oh, there's so much more I can do. Like I could make so much of a bigger difference. Like there's just this, you can't be in Joe's presence and talk to him without thinking you're not doing enough and not doing enough like hustle. No, no, no. Like just not doing enough for the greater good of humanity.
Mhm.
And to have that intersection of like him on stage after 6 years ago, he was thinking a 10-year plan at this event, which is incredible. Thanks to Melissa and the support she's given me in the business, and then watching the room like, well, I have goosebumps saying it to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is so powerful right there. And how many lives got impacted there? Because it's not just the lives of the people in that room. It's the people that they're associated with too. The people that they serve, the clients that they serve, their spouses, their families, their vendors, their employees and team members, if they have that. The ripple effect of that is massive. And man, oh man, wow, that is such good stuff. Well, for anybody that might be listening to this, thinking to themselves, man, Kevin, Robb is really an amazing guy. Man, I love who he is. I love how he shows up. And maybe they'd like to find out more about the work you do, or maybe they're thinking of somebody else they know that, man, I got to connect my friend with Robb. Any websites, any resources we can share with folks,
Yeah,
Robb?
absolutely. So growthhabit.org. That's my
Okay.
website. There's tons there, lots of resources, lots of information about events and tools and stuff that I have. My main online hang, as I mentioned, is LinkedIn. So if
Uh-huh.
you go there, RobbGilbear, you will find me there. I moonlight a bit on Instagram. I show up there a little bit. And then if some of the stuff I'm sharing is interesting to you, especially if you like stories, I would say check out my book.
Okay.
Die Before They Do, From Selling Drugs to Lunch with Jim Carrey, stories of struggle, near-death experiences, and creating a life with meaning.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. So, if you're listening to this, as always, we got links right down below here. Just scroll down the page there, and you'll see the links that Robb mentioned. You can check those out. Robb, is there any last thing that you feel led to share before we call it a wrap?
There's so much talk about technology and AI and FOMO, and I don't know that I've seen the rate of change be at the amount it's changing now. Like I remember pre-internet. I remember getting my first email address and it was a family email address. I remember getting my first cell phone. I remember leveraging MySpace to get clients in a previous business for the first time. Like I remember before all of these things,
Yeah.
and those things made an insane impact rather quickly
Yep.
that it's hard for people who weren't around prior to understand. And I don't know that I've seen the rate of change that AI is bringing.
Yeah.
It can't even compare. It is way faster, way bigger, way more like it's out of control.
Yeah.
And the only thing I am certain of is that relationships will continue to be, if not become even more
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
The human side of things is way more important than ever. So technology is going to speed up. This is going to do what it's going to do. Change is going to happen. And Kevin, what you're doing with your work, with your business, and with these interviews, as far as intentional conversations about relationships, about impact, introducing people, and to anyone listening, like you don't have to copy Kevin, but focus on the relationships,
Yeah.
focus on the humanity, and it will pay dividends in ways you cannot even imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just am so, that what you just shared resonates so much because in, what I've seen too, same thing. Yes, AI is just, man, moving at such a speed. And it's also just a lot of good is coming from it, but a lot of craziness is coming from it too. And in many ways, it's totally got us in this trust recession. And I can tell you that relationships are becoming more and more valuable on a daily basis. And AI is like a big part of the reason for that. And if anything, I'm kind of, when it comes to AI, I might be behind the pack a little bit, but I've just been over here doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on relationships, but it's totally been the right move. And so and I'm playing around with AI too, and I see some real uses for that, and I'm excited about that too. But
Yeah,
relationships are definitely where it's at. And
really
so,
where it's at. Because what I would say is I don't even think we're in a trust recession. I think we're in a trust depression.
yeah,
Like I think it's far past a recession because there's this like, did you write those words? Is that really you as a video or is that just a fake AI avatar thing? One of the fastest growing subreddits on Reddit is a forum called Is This AI? And every day, hundreds or thousands of people are uploading pictures and videos to try and understand, is their uncle being duped? Is this a real picture? Did their coworker actually get in an accident? Because no one knows what's real anymore. No one knows what they can believe and they can trust. And obviously, through relationships, getting an introduction, like Kevin, when you introduce two people and they trust you innately, there's an inherent trust in that introduction.
yeah,
And that makes such a big difference to overcome the trust depression that we're in.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for just taking the time to have this conversation today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited to get this out there and share it with folks. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a joy to be here. I appreciate the invitation. Thanks so much, Kevin.
You bet.